Hey, this is Jeff Wick, editor of the Fayette County Record newspaper, here at Old World Antiques, just west of LaGrange on Highway 71. As you can see, Andy Behlen is putting the finishing touches on this edition of the Fayette County Record. Come on, Andy, you got to hurry up. You got to wrap this thing up. All right, all right. Well, with this edition of the paper will be complete. Andy, we print 6,300 copies of every edition. So one down, 6,299 to go. While you get working on that, I'm going to present the copy to Brian Kleinwachter,
Hey,
owner and operator of Old World Antiques here in LaGrange. Hey, thanks for having us out today.
Thanks for coming.
Before I give this to you, I got to make sure this is certified. It's got just enough news in this to make it worth that dollar. There you go, Brian.
Thank you, sir. We love it.
How about we go over here, talk a little bit about the headlines, and then after we do, you can show us this wonderful facility you've got here. How about we spread it out here in front of this wonderful carousel pig, formerly going round and around at fairs, but now it'll serve as the perfect backdrop for some news. Andy, you want to take us through some of the stories people can find on the front page of this edition of the Record?
So, at the top of the front page is some sad news out of Flatonia. A man died in a house fire on Sunday. Flatonia police are investigating it as a crime. So as soon as we find out some more on that, we'll let you know. There's a awesome picture on the front page by our newest employee, Kara Cater, the young fella spraying the water hose over there at the LaGrange Library for their summer reading program.
Yeah, if you don't smile when you see that photo, something's wrong with you. Just a great shot Kara captured there. What else we got, Andy?
Interesting story about a group of guys out of Louisiana that were apparently partying in Houston Saturday night and drove the wrong way and wound up in Schulenburg, fell asleep at a stoplight, and ended up in the Fayette County Jail.
Wow.
So, and then some other big news out of Schulenburg: the Monogram Pet Treats factory there is closing down in September. It's probably going to make a big impact on the local economy because they employ a little over 100 people over there in Schulenburg. Some more news from the LaGrange ISD School Board, ongoing budget talks.
Some good sports news in the newspaper. Dave Campbell's Texas Football Magazine's out, and they're predicting playoff appearances for all three public high schools in Fayette County. LaGrange, Schulenburg, and Flatonia are all going to be heading to the playoffs, according to the magazine. So that would be wonderful, considering some of the struggles of last season. That's great news.
Absolutely. Last night I covered the LaGrange Citizens Alliance meeting. Didn't have time to write a story for today's paper, but we're going to have a story in Tuesday's paper about this meeting. Lots of folks are interested in what's going on with that new neighborhood LaGrange Disaster Recovery Team is trying to build over on Horton Street.
And Brian, I know y'all do a lot of business out in Round Top with the antique shows and stuff. Here on the opinion page, a letter kind of clarifying some things. There's been some controversies about Round Top elected officials and their eligibility to hold office. Really interesting letter from the mayor and the town attorney over there in Round Top in that section. So, a ton of things you can read about in today's paper. But Brian, let's talk about Old World Antiques.
Yeah, well, we've been a family business for over 25 years. So we moved down here from Colorado. We started the business pretty much in Breckenridge, Colorado, back in 1995, just out of a 1,000 square foot shop.
Wow.
I was a ski bum, looking for a way to make a buck. Wasn't sure how to make money in the antique business, but I knew, from my mom and dad's experience, I grew up doing it. I grew up refinishing their furniture, setting up their antique shows, and it's something I thought would be the last thing in the world I'd ever do, right? So here I am 25 years later, and we just kind of, we grew a business out in Colorado for 15, 18 years, and it was me and my brother and sister who were partners, and we decided to all kind of do our own thing in 2008, 2009, and doing the Round Top Antique Show for about 20 years I've been doing it. I was one of the first dealers at Marburger. I've done the Red Barn, I've done Warrenton, and I would make my travels from Colorado down to here, and I just loved the area. I fell in love with the people. I fell in love with LaGrange, and it was just something that in my heart, I knew I always wanted to, try to do the antique business down in this neck of the woods. Being Round Top is really, truly one of the biggest antique shows in the world now that I've seen. I mean, I travel the world. I've done shows all over the world, and I've never seen one bigger. So that's just a little tidbit that, from somebody who's seen it and seen the different antique shows. But anyways, here we are at Old World Antiques. We started this business in 2009.
Okay.
I came out here and rented this little. There was just a little building here when I rented it. It was a 5,000 square foot building. You're standing in our main showroom back in the day. And then in the back here was my little warehouse. It had one container outside. I started with one container, going over to Europe, and that's something I've done for 25 years, is gone to Europe, India, Egypt, and brought containers back. But I started with one here in Texas, and now we're up to about 55 to 60 containers a year. I travel 3 to 4 times a year. We have a partner over in Holland, Hans van der Vleuten. I've worked with him now for almost 20 years, but we partnered up when I moved to Texas here. And he is my eyes and ears over there in Europe. He will buy every day of the year for me. I just talked to him on the phone, and he just bought all these instruments from an old English musical college. It's just kind of an interesting thing. Hey, Brian, I just bought 50 trumpets and saxophones, but they're all from like the 20s and 30s. So that was just that's kind of like my daily phone call from him. He's always finding just really cool things, and he's so close to everything from where we import. So he's really like sometimes like 3-hour, plane ride to Egypt, or he's like maybe 8 hours to India, opposed to myself it's about 20. So it's he does a little more of the traveling, but when I go over there, we travel together, and it's definitely one of the best parts of the job.
Well, as we continue talking, how about we stroll around and talk, just to show off this amazing facility. Like you were saying, stuff from all over the world. What are some of the things we're looking at right now, Brian?
Well, these are really interesting. These are roebuck antlers, right? Okay, and the names you'll see on these sign plaques would be the person who hunted it, the date he hunted it, and generally what forest or what region he hunted it. And generally, as the history goes, only the king pretty much owned all the land back in the day, right? And he would let only royalty hunt. So if you were a baron or a count or somebody important, he would invite you on these royal hunts.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much what you're seeing here. I mean, I buy these collections out of old hunt lodges over there, and I'll sometimes buy 50 to 100 different antler pieces out of these hunt lodges. So that's a pretty unique piece of history. I mean, over here is an old French carousel horse that it had the pipe through it. It's all hand carved out of wood. It's hand painted, original glass eyes. Pretty interesting. I mean, and another really interesting thing up here, I've never seen them. It is one of the strangest things that you'll probably ever see. It doesn't look that strange, but when you hear the story of it, you're going to be a little creeped out. But we bought them. We like unique things here. So what you're seeing here is over in France, in some of the bigger church cemeteries, like important people, like back in the day, if it's royalty or the bishops or the priests, when they were buried, they and there's only one area of France, they would make these and put these over the gravestones. So instead of flowers that you'd put outside, they encapsulated them and put them more glass.
Yeah.
But these are actually porcelain and metal flowers.
Oh, really?
So we bought a collection of like 40 of these things, and it's great art. Actually, my wife just took one. She took the flowers out of it, put soil in it, and did a terrarium out of it. You see things like what you see here. I mean, this is out of an old Catholic church from 1850s, 1860s. These were the altar candlesticks, solid bronze. Truly exceptional, craftsmanship on stuff like that.
Strolling around earlier, we saw a lot of those religious things that, some amazing historical.
Yeah, kind of in this area here is some of our religious things. Right now, you can buy religious things over in Europe. Unfortunately, the churches over in Europe are closing at alarming rates.
Yeah.
people just aren't going to church over in Europe like they used to, especially the Catholic Church. And I mean, there are so many Catholic churches over in Europe. So it's just, unfortunately, they're closing down, and we can buy some of these great relics that have never been for sale.
Yeah.
So we get some, some religious, but it's not all religious.
All right, Brian, you got to tell us about that.
What is? You want to know?
I don't know.
Do you really want to know what this is? No, this came out of a chemist lab over in Belgium, and I'm not sure what they cooked or brewed in this thing, but it had a big, pipe coming out of here and something going in here. But my wife bought it, and she was going to make a terrarium out of it. But we like, just really cool, unique things. I mean, you see these line heads over here. These are old feet off an old piano. Wow. So these are actually organ feet that were mounted up on the piano. They're cast iron. I got them in upstate New York. I mean, just heavy as can be. Pretty neat.
That's amazing. Everything here's got a fascinating backstory. Sounds like.
Over there, I mean, you had this typewriter from France and a scale from Germany, and a pig. Is that off a carousel too?
The pig is. I bought that from a restaurant over in Europe that had it as a prop where the kids sat out for pictures. So I think it's from the 60s, but as you can see, I mean, I really like to get things that maybe you haven't seen before. It just, spark people's interest. We want you to come back. I mean, truly, it's one of the more unique shops in the South, and maybe one of the biggest, and especially with their volume of stuff. Our main part of our business is wholesale, but we love to get the locals in here and get their curiosities going, and we give great discounts to locals, when they come on down. So, I mean, we just,
But, I guess what I was getting at is somehow or another, this shop is very aesthetically pleasing. It all ties together some kind of way or another. So can you explain the style? What is the style?
It's kind of old world mixes, mixed with kind of restoration hardware a little bit. The restoration hardware whole movement was kind of the bleached out cabinets and distressed paints and, but it's really, truly everything we buy is, we want it to be old world. Like something, if you imagine like going over to France and some of the oldest parts of France or Belgium, we like picking those things out of here, and that's what keeps our customers coming back, that's for sure.
Let's keep walking through. There's so much to look at here. Great artwork, I imagine, out of churches.
Yeah, those two came out of a church. They're actually from the late 1600s. They're painted on board, and they're two different saints. So, I mean, truly one of the oldest pieces in the store. This big white piece here came from a law office over in Holland. We restored it a little bit.
What are y'all's hours of operation, real quick, for people watching? Days that
we are actually open 7 days a week. We close down just for 3 or 4 holidays a year. You can catch us 10 to 6 Monday through Saturday, and then on Sunday we're open 12 to 5. So yeah.
You have a website too?
Yeah, we have a great website. My wife is really active on Instagram and Facebook. We post all our newest finds when our containers come in. We're posting all the greatest things on Instagram and Facebook, and then Fernando, he's in charge of the website and all social media, as well as my wife, and they just stay real active. So if you can't get here, just follow us online or social media avenues. I mean, that's how our business has flourished over the last 10 years.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of our customers come from out of state. We just had a customer from Mexico City come in yesterday, buying a bunch of religious stuff. So we really have customers from all over North America.
Yeah, and I mean, this is a Thursday, not during the Antiques Fair today, and still there's customers coming in and out the whole time we were in here.
Yeah, the business is really, I think, just the word of mouth. When you walk in this place, obviously, you guys have never been in here, so when you walked in, you get kind of blown away or overwhelmed, and yeah, I think that's what happens. People come in here, and the word of mouth is really just spread throughout Texas, and we just get new customers every day come in here that enjoy what we're doing.
And a lot of that social media stuff is included in the ad that y'all have running in today's paper, so you can check that out too.
Yeah, we're linking to the Facebook page in this video, so y'all can click on the link and get
Awesome.
their Facebook page too.
Awesome. There's a cool room back here.
Yeah, let's go.
I'll show you the man cave.
All right.
This came out of an old butchery.
Yeah.
This was an old meat counter from 1920s. We completely restored it, cleaned it out, put new glass on it. Cool piece.
So now, is this just stuff y'all have acquired in the time y'all have been here in LaGrange, or?
Yes.
Wow.
This is just LaGrange. So I mean, when you get 50, 60 containers a year coming in, I mean, there's just stuff coming.
Oh, look at this. Yeah.
You
Talk
know.
about a man cave.
Yeah. So we got this really cool handmade industrial foosball table.
Yeah, that's excellent.
You know, with the metal ball. You know, we can play a quick game. You know.
You don't have to worry about anybody breaking this foosball table.
No, not at all. I mean, what you're seeing here is an old clock face. This is actually a true clock face from an old German clock tower. And we work with a guy over in Europe who restores all the clock towers of Europe.
Wow.
And it's so much easier for them to put a new one up, take the old one down. And so we get all the antique ones that are coming off the building. So every year we might get 5, 6 of these antique pieces.
I know there's a lot of nautical stuff too.
Yeah, you know, there's a salvage company I work with in southern India, and they demo boats and ships. So when we buy old ship clocks or old compasses, or over here are we have a bunch of old ship wheels, and I just like a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and I definitely, being so close to the coast, we get a lot of people that love that stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, right, you see up here,
a wing of a plane?
A wing of a plane. We actually have the other wing inside the warehouse that says patrol, so cable patrol. He was the guy who was checking out the cable lines, electric companies. This is a fascinating piece. I mean, this car here was used in an automotive college in the 1950s, and it's an exact replica of an old 1953 MG. So all the moving parts, you can see the innards of the brake lines and the engine and how the thing operates. So I mean, it's just, I've never had one. Yeah, it's just something crazy. I mean, maybe we'll never sell it, but I liked it, and it's good to have things you don't see every day. And this is an old searchlight off a ship, solid brass from 1910. Old motorcycle advertisements that we got. Somebody painted these on old tin pieces. We got a couple of these. An old workbench you see below us, all dovetailed, and we get these out of Czechoslovakia and Romania.
This table is something else too.
Yeah, this is handmade by one of our artisans over in India, and everything spins here.
Wow.
When you turn it, so all the gears turn and move, and
That's cool.
just one of our cool, unique things. You see this piece over here? It's an old 1920s bicycle. I made a table from it. So, we just definitely like the unique, unusual, hard to find, but have everything very usable for the home. So.
Especially for those of y'all looking for a boat color. Those can. That's nice. That's
Yeah, and actually we have a glass top, and we made a coffee table with this one.
Okay.
So yeah, this
I see what that
is
is.
one of our creations. I saw all these boat props in India, and we have some artisans over there. If I give them an idea, they will do it. So
Yeah.
I designed the base and have these little things made, and then we got a nice thick piece of glass that goes on there. So there's probably 50 things that over the course of the years doing this, I see it, and we'll design something out of an old architectural piece, or or old fragment. Just like this piece here. I mean, unusual, but this is an old conductor, from Holland. Came off an old electricity pole, and we made it into a table lamp. So. Just different, unique, fun things that you'll see here in Old World.
And you have a huge warehouse back here with a ton of stuff in it. We walked around in it earlier. We're not going back there because the Wi-Fi will cut out and we'll lose the live video feed. But a huge warehouse with ton more stuff than just what you're seeing here in the showroom.
It's truly massive. Sometimes people they wait around all year to go to the spring and fall antique shows, you don't have to wait all year to have that real antiques market experience here at Old World Antiques, and you can do it in the comfort of air conditioning. I mean, this is 55,000 square feet.
55,000 square
Just
feet.
amazing. Open 7 days a week.
Couple locations, you know. And yeah, you know, a lot of people say they enjoy this better than Round Top because we have a little bit of everything. You know, you can go out to those fields and look at all the different vendors that bring in stuff, but since we import from so many places, you're going to see a little bit of everything, and all our things are restored, cleaned, ready to go in the home, you know, and we're real aggressive with pricing. So I mean, obviously, you guys come in here, you know, our customers come in, we're ready to sell. You know, come in, look at the price, talk to one of our sales staffs, and we are wheeler and dealers. All the stuff's got to sell, right? I mean,
Yeah. So don't get scared off by the sticker price on something. Ask around.
I mean, you know, good things, expensive things. I mean, they cost money. They cost money
sure.
over in Europe. Nothing comes free. So I mean, we like to have everything from $10 to $10,000. So I mean, you might find something that came out of a castle or a hunt lodge that I had to pony up for and pay for, but you'll find those things here.
Brian, it's been such a pleasure.
Thanks
Thank you
for
so
having
much
me.
for
Yeah,
having us.
you got it,
And
guys.
congratulations on a tremendous
I appreciate it.
facility here. It's just amazing. People from around the world have discovered this place. It's time for local people to better
Yes.
discover this
Come
place
on
too.
down.
So-
We'll treat you like family.
Now, remember to always check us out on Facebook and Twitter, Instagram. You can find us online at FayetteCountyRecord.com. And Brian, remind us of your website one more time.
OldWorldAntiques.com, and Antiques is spelled a little funny. It's Antieks.
Just like that
Yeah,
sound.
it's
right
the
there.
Dutch spelling of antiques. Kind of give some homage to my partner.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank y'all so much for watching, and thank y'all so much for reading. And we'll see you next
All right,
time.
Thanks.